I get it. Sometimes I critique the question you're
that we're
asking,
Jewish?
and you do this thing of like, this is not good for you to make fun of your host on the show. It's not working. I'm like, all right, I get it. I have not seen the documentary.
But you leave the documentary, so I'm going to ask you a question because I saw it.
You don't need to set it up as the documentary when I haven't seen it. If I did it in real life, you can just say, I understand you.
You're the one wasting time right now.
Fair enough.
Hello, America. My name is Adam Friedland. I'm extremely excited to welcome you to the premiere episode of the new season of The Adam Friedland Show. On a weekly basis, I will be releasing episodes where I sit down with some of the world's most important and interesting people. And for our first guest, I was joined by none other than current candidate for New York City Council and former Congressman Anthony Weiner. Now, it would be easy for me to prepare for my guest like a tabloid fixture. But let's not forget, Weiner is a seasoned and accomplished politician, and above all else, a human being. So in order to prepare, I decided it was necessary for me to sit down with an expert on human psychotherapy, and I may have even learned a little bit about myself in the process. So without further ado, this.
A red rose and a romantic novel. That's how I told my guest to identify me today amongst the hustle and bustle of the High Line, one of New York City's many hidden gems. I was here to meet James Foley, a renowned psychotherapist to the rich and powerful. If anyone could help me get into the psychology behind Weiner, it was James. After a brief stroll through the neighborhood, we sat down in my Hudson Yards penthouse to discuss the psychological profiles of the men that have shaped our world.
I'm James Foley. I'm a psychotherapist. I treat men for sexual misbehavior, such as affairs, hiring sugar babies, and things like that.
Tell us where we can find you. Do you have an Instagram?
www.sexuallycompulsive.com.
What's the general profile of your client base?
So my practice is composed of high-functioning men, like CEOs, guys who run banks, film directors, art, even high-end artists, musicians. I've had elected officials.
Let's say like a man sends just like a picture of his erection like under his underpants, but he's like, I'm not showing full meat. Like, is that like in a psychological process? Is like, well, if I'm not showing full meat, then. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And he's like, but then obviously his wife sees it. He's like, well, obviously it's legal if I'm just showing dick print, but no full meat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, people who engage in these things will
make deals with themselves.
Yes, they'll make a bargain with themselves and obviously get themselves hurt with that bargain that doesn't really make sense.
Okay, what is the difference between when a man cheats and a woman cheats? You kind of indicated something.
But a lot of our programming as men and for women as women, like it's different. And a lot of our programming is behind our irrational behavior. So you and I are guys, we got different programming typically than a woman would get, and then.
But they cheat. They cheat.
Oh, I'm not saying they don't cheat, but
a lot of them do cheat.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's immune from that. At least no gender. But the idea is what's powering it can be different.
So why would a girl cheat on her boyfriend? Like, if he's like, especially if he's a great guy and stuff.
I wouldn't know. That's a broad brush kind of thing.
It's just, but it's not. So it's. And there it was, straight from the horse's mouth. Women cheat too. And with that in mind, I was finally ready to take on my biggest challenge to date, Anthony Weiner. Pause.
Our next guest is a former congressman. He was the youngest ever elected member of the New York City Council. He's run for mayor twice, and currently he is running in 2025 for city council. Please welcome Anthony Weiner, everyone. Let's get some energy in this room. Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
It's my pleasure to be here.
We talked on the phone for 10 minutes.
We did. It was a good talk. You want this in your cup so we can... Oh, no, it's already got water.
We have
in it.
water in the cup, and I would appreciate it if you just featured the
No,
logo.
that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I thought. So this
Maybe.
is like, yours is white, mine is black, like Spy versus Spy styles.
Yeah, so you're
Gotcha.
you're a big fan of the show.
This one?
Yes.
Maybe the biggest? Which tells you a little something about the show,
He
but
sent
yeah.
dozens of emails. Actually, your email style is very funny because you just go last name. No, like sincerely.
Correct.
go
Oh, yeah.
last name.
I think there's a lot of wasted words generally in the world.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I like that your show's about 8 minutes. It's quick in and out.
Were you like a last name guy, like with your friends? It's kind of a.
Well,
like
I mean,
a-
Weiner kind of lends itself to that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know, so yeah, I mean, yeah.
So growing up, you were Weiner to your boys.
Yeah.
I saw your Patrick Bet David thing.
Had you heard of that guy? See, this is what...
That guy is amazing. I saw a video of him recently where he's like, 4 years ago, technology. 3 years, pandemic. 2 years ago, vaccine. This year, AI technology.
Yeah.
He just says sentences like that, and like guys are like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna pay $10,000 to go to the seminar. Yeah, and he's a billionaire now.
No, I asked these questions because I'm on
So
terrestrial
you
radio
went there,
here in New
you
York.
didn't know who the fuck that guy was.
No, I mean, I'm not saying like I didn't do anything to get. I got on a plane and flew down there, but it's more kind of like this season of yes, of saying yes to arguing
Yeah.
with people, and so I didn't quite. And I had a certain. Once I looked it up a little bit, and I saw that there was no. It was just a person who this ran. became kind of fascinated to understand what exactly was going on, because I'm trying to understand this a little bit. Like,
This is okay. I was.
you
on-
don't think you're a kindred spirit with him in terms of what you're trying to do, like.
No, certainly not.
Not on substance, but in the general, like, people want to look at interesting
In
shit
a-
nowadays. We don't really care what it is.
The objective with our show is this, right? The internet makes.
Someone should have told me this sentence before, but go ahead.
I actually did. No. I'll tell you this right now. I talked to him on the phone. He's like, and he's like, and you make money from this? And I was like, well, you know, we were on a podcast for morons for 6 years, and then the fat one left to do crowd work, and so then we changed it because I was kind of the schmuck, I was the nebbish, and we rebranded it to make me into an intellectual
this
talk
conversation.
show host, and then you. This was amazing what you did. You let like a little pregnant pause after my whole soliloquy. He goes, and you go, well, you took me on quite the journey there, but you did not in any way, shape, or form answer my question.
No, I don't say way, shape, or form. I don't think people talk like that. I just said I didn't get the answer.
You were like, vis-a-vis, et cetera, You did not.
All right.
I'm but a Southern lawyer.
Who did the notes for you? Who did the sample question? Like, did you do that on your own?
No, I have an
You got the manager?
I have a room full of women of color who are my writers.
I thought it might just be
I don't
like-
have a single honky ass. Okay,
Right.
well, that does not go in the episode. Okay, you're born in 1964 in New York City.
I was, yes.
Okay, and you're a Brooklyn boy.
I grew up in Brooklyn, right?
You're Park Slope?
Park Slope, 6 between 8th and the Park.
Fabulous.
Yes, 39, junior high school 51.
How was was the food co-op there at the time?
No, it was a very different kind of vibe then.
Where are you now?
Lower East
Manhattan?
Side.
Lower East
Well,
Side?
East Village.
But
Alphabet City.
It's too loud.
Yes, too loud.
It's too loud in these.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on there.
And then you have like an NYU vomit when you walk outside.
There's
Come
a
on.
lot. There's a lot going on there.
And your mother was an educator
Or a math teacher.
or a math teacher.
Well, educator. Who are you trying to impress? She's a teacher. Teacher.
I was trying to compliment your mother.
I'm not sure
Why
why.
are you trying to- why are you trying to shit on your-
No,
okay.
why are you down branding teacher?
I think it's an umbrella term.
Which one?
Educator.
Right, and a more precise one is teacher. She was a teacher.
Okay, your dad, an attorney.
He was like a little neighborhood attorney. He kind of hung a shingle outside our house, that kind of vibe.
Just like a family law practice.
He did some real estate stuff. Yeah, I don't really know for sure. Like did some real estate closings, that kind of thing. Wasn't big enough. He's like for people who wouldn't have Jacoby Myers, but they wouldn't have a big firm. They'd have like Grau and Weiner.
And did they split up when you were a kid?
When I was in college.
When you were in college?
Your parents together?
My mother passed away.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry to
They
hear
were
that.
together for 40 years. Yeah.
Yeah, my thing was like, my dad passed away recently. My thing was when my parents, man, I can tell the story. The story's really not apropos of anything. Go ahead.
Tell the story. What?
No, it's just when they split up.
Let me tell. Okay,
When
take a pause.
This is a
Literal
political
pause or just
no,
a pause in the conversation?
Shut the fuck up. No, okay. People want to know you as a human being.
Okay, that's fair enough. All right, so
yeah.
let me continue.
Yeah.
So when they broke up when I was like in my 20s.
Okay, hurry up.
And I'm like, exactly. That was like so.
That was a joke. Come on, I'm a schmuck.
Kind of weak.
You got to pop.
What is that?
It got to pop. It got to pop.
I understand what that.
It got to pop.
No, I wasn't beefing about you.
Oh my God.
You know, there's the.
Sorry, I'm not.
No,
trying
I'm not beefing about you. You never. What is it?
Okay, sorry, I got to laugh. I'm not trying to do a whip of a pork barrel backroom deal in the fucking halls of or whatever.
It takes a little while for me to figure out where the crowd is. This is not a very strong crowd. I mean, they're just laughing at
It's 4 guys.
Yeah.
What do you mean not a strong crowd? They laughed at Weiner? Sorry, your last name means Bean. It's not a big deal.
All right, fair enough.
Okay? Did you think you were like, I'm fine, dude. There's another guy in Congress named Dick Armey.
Here's the thing is, Dick Armey.
You're like, what? Compared to Dick Armey, this is not that bad.
There was Norm Dix, too.
Norm Dix?
Yeah, in Washington.
Yeah.
You see, this is what I take.
It's funny. It's funny, okay?
Okay.
And you're not a coward like that goddamn John Stewart Leibowitz trying to erase our culture. New York City kids, my girlfriend grew up in the Upper West Side. I didn't grow up here. And I feel like you guys grow up faster. Like my friends that grew up in the city, they're like, I had my coke phase at 13.
Yeah.
They kind of become adults faster.
I guess so. I mean, that's the kind of the argument in public schools. You bounce off a lot of different types of people. Plus, growing up in the 70s, you mugged a lot. Like, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah,
I guess so.
And you were going to Manhattan with your friends in high school?
High school, yeah. Actually, the same neighborhood I live in now, we would kind of go and just to see how edgy it was, that kind of stuff.
Where are you going? Studio 54?
No.
Andy
We would go
Warhol's
to like
Factory.
we go to like Rocky Horror,
Rocky Horror?
Yeah, on St. Mark's, that kind of style.
But that's for fucking nerds.
Yeah,
You're doing
that's
that thing
probably
where you throw things?
fair characterization of like
Come on.
where I was.
Yeah, I would have been at CBGB's if I was you.
You?
Yeah, if I was your age in New York City.
So you're gonna say you were cool then? Now what happened? What is
I've
this?
always been one of the coolest guys. No, so I mean, I guess New York in the 70s is characterized as like a completely different place.
Yes.
You've lived here for most of your life, like.
Well, my whole except when I was in college and in prison, I was here. And in Washington, I would go back and forth.
Yeah. I used to live in D.C. I went to college there.
Where?
GW.
Oh. You're just like this. Yeah, you're a Jew through and through, huh?
No, they gave me the most money.
Your girlfriend Jewish?
Why?
I'm just curious.
What are you, my fucking parents?
Just curious. I'm
she's
sorry.
20. Her mom's half Jewish. 25% is my max.
Okay.
Oh my God, they don't. I can't stand it.
Sorry.
No, it's not.
No, I'm trying to gauge the level of the back and forth. You do the questions.
No,
I'll do
we're
just
having
the
fun.
answer.
I'm just doing a shtick where I'm like, oh.
And I'm doing.
What are you, my mother?
And I'm doing a shtick to being offended by like being apologetic. We're just all doing it.
Listen, you could have been a nightclub comedian in another life. I could have been a member of the U.S. House of Representatives.
You probably could have been.
We in parallel universes.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Vegas.
Yeah, you could have. You
Yeah,
could have been like Shelley Berkeley or something like that.
I worked for Shelley Berkeley.
Yeah, you could have been that. That could have been you.
I was an intern when I was a junior in high school at the Congresswoman's field office.
Yeah.
Me and my best friend Alex were interns there, and we'd like wear like a shirt.
Do you remember what office were you in? Do you remember?
Do you know the field offices of Shelley?
Oh, you were in the
Vegas.
district office.
Yeah, she was my congresswoman.
Got it.
And,
so you weren't really committed. You were like just doing it.
What do you mean committed? I was in high school. I had to go back home
Oh, there are
afterwards.
people that do internships in Washington.
Not in the middle of school. I just did it to get out of 8th period.
There you go.
Okay, so I'd go.
I think that's the definition of not being committed. Is when you say, "I just want to get out of 8th period."
Well, I got good. What was your GPA graduating?
It's a little bit.
What was your SAT?
In high school?
In high school.
I don't think I had a 3.
You didn't have a 3.
I don't think so. I was not a great student. But listen, I still got. Have you heard of Harvard?
What?
I mean, I'm just saying.
Harvard University.
Yeah, I didn't go there, but I just want to make sure you've heard of it. But I went to the state. You see now I know the room.
You went to Plattsburgh.
I went to Plattsburgh State.
Me and my friend Alex, when we were working at our congresswoman's office, we'd have to like wear a shirt, so we felt like we were businessmen, and we'd go afterwards to Hooters, because we thought that we were like adult.
This is in Vegas.
Yeah, when we were like 17, 16-year-old boys.
Got it.
Yeah, it's a great place. Have you been there?
Las Vegas, Nevada.
No, Hooters.
I don't believe I have.
It's demeaning.
Which part?
The fact that they don't let like.
Oh, I thought you meant just generally being here. And I was gonna.
This is good for you. I'm telling you, this is good for you. So you're a city kid. Mets Islanders.
Correct.
The Mets are the team of the Jews and the redheads, right?
Brooklyn.
The
Brooklyn.
Your family were Dodger fans?
No, but you would not if you grew up in
You
Brooklyn.
kind of seem like a Yankee fan, though.
No.
You're a Met fan that acts like a Yankee fan.
What?
You were like
No, I'm a middle class guy. I'm like
you go toe to toe in Congress.
that's what the Mets do.
27 rings.
The Mets are a blue collar team. That's my team. Yeah.
No, the Mets are like, I'm sorry.
The Mets?
I've been at City Field sitting next to people and they're like, more of this again with this. You're like an abused wife
No,
that keeps going back
not anymore.
to him.
Not anymore.
Yeah, you keep going back to him, the Mets, and saying he's changed. He's not going to hit me anymore.
I don't want to. I don't want to. Who tunes in to listen to Mets Yankee banter on this show?
I was on a good riff right now. You just killed it.
I'm not so sure because I'm not.
You're a Met fan, but you act Yankees.
I know you did that line. It wasn't that great the first time. I'm saying no. I am a Brooklyn guy. The Mets are a middle class team. You guys buy your rings. We earn them. And
Guys that have two families that live 3 blocks away from each other are Yankee fans, right? Guys that are like have chronic allergies and get sensitive when they listen to Paul Simon are Met fans.
The '86 Mets were like the iconic bad boy team of
Yeah,
books
but
have
you
been
weren't
written about.
there. You were with Dykstra doing lines.
First of all, no. Is that the measure of like what team I've lost the thread here.
What do you mean?
Can we edit out the sports parts of this show?
Why is this the offensive part of the show?
No, I'm just saying.
See, this is the thing. He is a Met fan. He's acting like a Met fan right now.
No real New Yorker is a Yankee fan. I mean,
First
I'll
of
give
all,
you the Bronx. You want to do the geography thing? I'll give you the
I
Bronx.
think a lot of
You?
Italian and Dominican guys would disagree with you.
In the Bronx.
No, in
They're not-
Bensonhurst, they're
No.
yes, they
Except
are.
that asshole Giuliani. That was it.
You think Mayor Giuliani was an asshole?
No, no, that wasn't the hard part. The Yankee.
Yeah. Hey guys, I want to talk to you about having better sex with Blue Chew. Not with Blue Chew, but you eat it and then you have the better. Anyway, Blue Chew is an original brand offering chewable tablets for better sex. And starting now, Blue Chew is offering a combo so strong it'll knock your socks off and your neighbor's socks. You'll have to move towns with the amount of noise that you're making. Blue Chew Max has arrived. It's like HBO Max, right? It combines active ingredients of Viagra and Cialis into one chewable. You don't have to double up anymore. It's in one. If you're trying to watch your weight, Jesus Christ. How bad are your dicks, guys? If you have the worst one, if you really just can't do shit with it, this one has Viagra and Cialis in one. And it acts fast and it lasts. And guys, you can be ready whenever she needs it by trying your first month free with Blue Chew. Guys, we've worked with Blue Chew for years. You know the deal. It's a couple clicks away. You consult with one of their licensed medical providers. And once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. That's no awkward visits to the doctor, no awkward conversations with the doctor, no awkward trips to the pharmacy. It comes in discreet packaging, like a freaking dossier or something. A dossier of Blue Chew Max, which is a combination of Viagra and Cialis, right? That's freaking, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna do it. My next interview, I'm gonna be bricked up. And Blue Chew will not stop until every man, yeah, they said it too. They will not stop until every man is bricked up like a brick house. That's their mission. Everyone could use an extra hand, and with Blue Chew, you get an extra leg. It's pretty funny. And guys, make your life easier. Go to BlueChew.com. You know the frickin' deal. You try your first month of Blue Chew free by putting in our promo code TAFS. You only pay the $5 in shipping. That's promo code TAFS. All you do is pay the shipping. If you don't like it, screw it. I think you're gonna like it. Just freaking chew it and do it. Is that still their thing? Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. We thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this podcast. Guys, BlueChew.com. You talk to the person on the computer. You do a Zoom about your erections. You pay $5 shipping. It's a great deal, and it's made in the USA. So there's no tariffs. Can you imagine these tariffs? Folks, I want to talk to you about cornbread hemp. Life's getting a little crazy recently, and one thing that helps me unwind is cornbread hemp's CBD gummies. They're incredible, guys. Have you been looking for a natural way to relieve aches and pains and discomfort? The CBD gummies from cornbread hemp are formulated to work with your body, not against it. I'm not as young as I once was. I'm in my golden years. I'm in my 60s now, my sexy 60s. But I care a lot about maintaining my physical and mental wellness. I look about like I'm 13, and not because of that. I would never claim that it's because of any specific products, but it's because of I take my wellness seriously. And cornbread hemp CBD gummies are a huge piece of my wellness plan. And guys, they got amazing flavors. They got watermelon, they got berry, they got peach. These are grown-up flavors that grown-ups like. All the stuff that freaking grown-ups like us like. So I've tried everything under the sun for a peace of mind, and it sounds like it's time for you to try cornbread hemp's CBD gummies. Formulated to relieve discomfort, stress, and sleeplessness, cornbread uses only the best part of the hemp plant, the gift from Jah that we have been given. It's the flower. And it's the purest, most potent CBD that you guys will ever have. So right now, fans of the Adam Friedland Show can save 30% off their first order and enjoy free shipping. That's freaking incredible deal on orders over $75. Okay, you have to pay over $75, free shipping, but you still, the 30% off, that's for everyone. But if you want $75 of this incredible product, this CBD gummies, you can go to cornbreadhemp.com/TAFS and use TAFS at checkout. That's cornbreadhemp.com/TAFS. Cornbread hemp. This is the good life. And now back to the show. Okay, let's get back to it. You went to Plattsburgh College.
No, Plattsburgh State University College of Arts and Sciences.
I know.
PSUC.
Plattsburgh 4 College. I'm sorry.
PSUC. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
Yes.
they call it the Yale of the SUNY system.
They totally do.
Okay, and when did you get involved or become interested in politics?
Probably there.
Probably there.
I ran for student government there.
What was your platform? What were you fighting?
Vote for Weiner, he'll be frank.
Okay, well, that's just a saying. Well, like, what did you want to do
That's
for the
what,
school?
what do you think you need in college? It's really, no more fish sticks in the cafeteria?
A pun about hot dogs.
Yeah.
And they were like, that's good.
Vote for Weiner, he's on a roll.
But what? But that was your entire platform. You were like,
Okay.
I want
know, so-
I want an office of Palestinian investigations or
So
something.
the division in student government, at least at Plattsburgh, it's probably other places, is you have these guys, these resident assistants who basically they're the professional guys on campus who are hired by the colleges to be in the dorms, the RAs, we all know what they are.
But they're
So
students.
my whole thing, right, so my whole thing is those people should not be allowed to
Yeah.
be on student government.
Why?
Well, because they effectively worked for the administration. So there's so I don't think they should be. Those are always the ones that were most ambitious to run. So I ran. It wasn't a platform. Who gave a shit?
I kind of like that as spite run.
Yeah, so that's what I did. And I didn't win. I came in. Anyway, I came close. And then there was a bit. You want to keep hearing the rest of the story?
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
think I've ever told it on any podcast before.
This is what people want.
I'm dubious. But I'll continue. We'll see. We'll see if the dial groups do well for this
We'll
segment.
cut it if it's boring.
So there was a vacancy because some kid didn't come back for whatever. He ran and then he didn't come back for whatever reason.
What was this guy's name? Full
I
name.
don't remember.
Full name.
I don't remember the guy's
You
name.
remember,
So there's a vacancy.
You definitely remember full name.
I remember names for the rest of the story.
Okay.
Okay. So then the charter of the Student Association of Plattsburgh State says that the president who's elected gets to choose a vacancy and has to get ratified by the Senate, right? So the president was Christine Slobin, and she chose someone, not me. And I'm like, that's not fucking fair. I was the next person votes, so I lobbied all the members of the Senate to reject her appointment.
Oh my God.
And they did.
And she was your first enemy in politics.
And she said, all right, fine. Who the fuck wants this job? Fine, you can have it. And then I made the rest of the Senate miserable the rest of the time because I was constantly complaining.
So you love the game.
I got a taste for it then in college, yes.
Okay, and then you worked for Chuck Schumer.
I did.
In D.C. right afterwards. And that was kind of was he your first mentor in politics?
Yeah, first and only, really.
What did you learn about how politics actually works?
I learned a couple of things. One, I learned the combination of the inside-outside game, and I also learned that relatively few people run Congress. That there are 435 of them, but there's really only a handful that actually do a lot of the work, so that you actually can really influence things a lot easier than people might think. Like you run for Congress, if you can figure out the 25 or 30 people that get shit done, you can really get a lot done.
And who are those people?
Sometimes they're staffers to committees, sometimes they're members who are super insider kind of people. Like, you know, Nancy Pelosi, knowing Nancy Pelosi was going to be someone early on, like I supported Nancy for whip and majority leader and whatever else.
You
so
know,
like that kind of stuff.
She's like a real wolf of Wall Street. She really knows how to pick them.
She's very good. She's
incredible at it.
She was very good at her
investing.
job. She was very good.
No, I'm
oh,
just
that.
talking,
I didn't.
She's unreal.
Yeah, but people have
How
money.
the hell does she know what stocks to get behind?
A lot of people are rich. Yeah, are you not familiar with that? Like
I'm
lot of
making a
people-
joke about how, like,
Yeah, and I'm not playing along.
why you think that members of Congress should own stocks?
Why shouldn't members of Congress own stock? It's the most transparent fucking body on earth.
I think that you can.
Every fucking word is published somewhere. Every
Do you
word
think
that's said.
that if you have an investment in something,
Go ahead.
and there's a piece of legislation
Yes.
that would threaten that investment, do you
Yeah.
think that that is a conflict of interest?
No, because it's
What the fuck are you talking about?
because every fucking piece of legislation is incredibly public, and anyone who's investing based on pieces of legislation is not going to
I'm
do
not
very
saying,
well.
let's say you already have an investment, and this would threaten that investment. Is it morally
There are pieces
correct?
of legislation that threaten and enhance every investment on Earth. Go ahead, give me an investment. I'll tell you, there's legislation on both sides.
I don't think for the relaunch. I don't think that's a good one.
Okay, let me tell you this.
I don't think that's a good one for you.
And
don't
this kind of like
You
superficial
shouldn't.
bumper sticker
There's
knowledge
so
of
many.
politics.
It's not
I'm
bumper
so
sticker.
over it.
There are so many.
This is like wafer thin, man. Oh
Anthony,
my God, the conflict
It
of interest.
doesn't matter
because
being
you're-
right. It doesn't matter being right? And it sounds bad to people that members of Congress come in
I know.
with not a lot of money and leave incredibly wealthy.
Dude,
okay?
my dude, listen, I understand.
Yes, brother.
People have a wafer thin, virtually translucent knowledge of politics that gets reinforced by assholes like you, and I'm supposed to be, oh yeah, that's up
Why
to
is
them.
it? Why is that asshole?
You're choosing the wrong correlative. The correlative is that these are people that are exposed to a lot of rich people. So the idea that investing on like inside information, every single thing that goes on in the economy, sometime or another, the United States Congress touches upon. So basically you're saying, well, you've got all this inside knowledge about everything on earth. Literally, as a member of Congress from Brooklyn, I was voting on agriculture policy. Didn't mean that I have inside information on soybean prices. It's a stupid premise. Now, if you want to say that rich people become members of Congress, bounce off other rich people, have information and investment opportunities that normal Mrs. Krapalucci doesn't have, 100% right. But it has nothing to do with the work of Congress, with being in a committee and saying, this line 17 here, which no one can read, says that we're going to start investing in AI. I'm going to go invest in AI. That's bullshit.
Okay, when someone becomes the president, there's a custom where they detach from their like private financial interests, right? President Trump, I don't believe has done that.
He did not do it, right.
Okay, when a member of the public sees that, we lose faith in that institution, right? Because the people that we elect to Congress shouldn't have any financial interest in what they are legislating, right? So even if you're saying I'm wrong, right, and then I'm undereducated, okay, in principle, we are in a time where people's faith in our institutions, especially in the fucking government, is at it is at a low point. In my opinion, people just don't they think it's all bullshit now.
Correct. Here's the problem.
Yes.
When I ran for mayor, I wanted to put pressure on Mike Bloomberg because I was going to run against Mike Bloomberg. I said, I don't have any money. You should put everything in a blind trust. And so I said to my staff, I said, let's figure out how I do this. They said, well, you can't because you have to report every quarter what you're holding. So I said, I can't, so it's blind, I just can't read my own filings? Well, no, you have to sign your filings. It's a conflict. But I'm saying it's bullshit. You, not you particularly, but you people like you, want to find an easy pat boogeyman for these things. Even if you're a middle class guy like me, who am I calling up for money? A bunch of rich people.
Yeah.
right? So now in the city it's a little bit different. They incentivize you to call, regular New Yorkers. Your guy Pete lives in my district. I'm gonna ask him for $10 on the way out of here. I mean,
Pete?
Yeah, he lives in my district.
Don't give him $10.
It's worth it's 8 to 1.
That's kind of me giving you $10, just so you know.
You've just pleaded guilty to a felony.
Why? What's the felony?
Well, you can't.
What's
he's
the
a straw
felony?
donor.
Being a good friend?
He's a straw donor.
Being a good friend? Okay, so Chuck was your mentor, right?
Yes.
And you took his seat in the House.
I did.
Okay, and
by force.
After you were in also, can I ask you another question?
Sure.
I used to live in D.C.
Yeah.
I mean, like, how ugly are these people?
Physically?
In the government. I mean, the only two pieces of ass I think in Congress when you were there were you and probably Mitch McConnell. Let's move on. Okay, so what is your relationship with Senator Schumer now?
Not great now.
Not great.
I've kind of given him a lot of space because I want him to be able to say, I don't know what that Weiner's up to nowadays, that kind of vibe.
You feel like you've become a pariah? Like what?
I feel that I let him down, yeah. I mean, I do.
You let him down during your scandals and stuff?
No, he was very kind actually during my scandals, etc. But I think that obviously, I caused him a lot of aggravation, and I was closely associated with him. So when my shit happened, I think a lot, the blast radius for my stuff included him. So
yeah. All right, I want to talk about being a Democrat during the Bush era, and I want to talk about your rise to prominence.
Because your viewers are really into the Bush era right now. That's their.
What do you mean? I am.
The Bush era is largely forgotten. I did my A work then, and no one remembers it. But go ahead.
I mean, we shouldn't forget it. I mean, you did vote for the Iraq War.
I did, yeah, I did.
That was a crap war.
That was a bad call by me.
That was a bad call.
Oof, bad call by me.
Yeah. I thought that.
Did you know at the time it was a shitty call, or because you were such an ardent Zionist, you were like, yeah, get in there?
I did a walkout. I did a walkout of my high school.
That's good.
And everyone was like, fag.
that was just an
It really upset me. It upset me. I fucking hated Bush. I hated him.
No, Bush wasn't an.
I hated Bush.
Well, right, okay. But you weren't a New Yorker on September 11th, were you? No.
In spirit, I was. I was listening to Howard Stern. I was on the radio, so I felt like I was there.
Close enough.
You know that someone called in from the tower to Howard from the.
Oh shit! I did not know that.
And he was like, "Howard, Baba Booey, I'm in tower." Not funny.
Too soon.
Not funny. Because the rest of America, we thought it was pretty funny. Anyway, of course, you rose to prominence in national attention because you had that fiery speech about the 9/11 first responders bill. There used to be this notion of there were Democrats in the party that were also fucking killers. You were a Democrat who wasn't a pussy. You were a macho. You were known for going on Fox News and smacking them down. And that did something for a lot of people, because that was during the rise of Fox News, that was during the Bush era. What do you make of the state of the modern day Democratic Party? Do you think there are people that have that fire?
Well, it's the comparison doesn't fit because I was a bigger fish in a smaller pond at the time. There was this notion you don't go on Fox News and fight with these guys because why do it? What does it get? And I thought, one, it's the sport of it, and two,
They're idiots.
Yeah, but now it's now the entire institution of politics has gotten to be performative of people who just say shit for the purpose of having it echo for no particular reason. So there are a lot of people that do that well.
What does that
mean? People that just want to be in it for the clicks and just want to say the outrageous things because they know it'll get picked up.
But they're in the modern day Democratic Party
or Republican Party.
I'm talking about because you're a Democrat. The party is kind of, they don't have a defined message against Trump right now, or a unified message against Trump right now. They just lost an election to The Apprentice for a second time. The party is kind of in a bad way right now, but they are perceived, I think, by the electorate as perhaps effete or lacking in passion or kind of empty.
I don't know. I mean, one party won by 1.3% of the vote, and yes, you can make this narrative of, oh my God, we fucking suck. Or we were a few 100,000 votes away from being, oh my God, it's amazing how great the Democrats are doing. We've had 3 elections in a row that are tied. You've got a lot of fucking people in the country who apparently don't take this stuff very seriously and just want to like make visceral screams every 4 years. All right, we know that. Now, how we as Democrats, we have more fidelity to the
Do you think
process.
there's anyone in the party right now that possesses like kind of the skills that you presented in 2008?
I know, but what
2007?
I was doing,
Just talk shit about some people right now.
What I was doing was I was expressing genuine, that moment in 2000, whatever it was, I was angry and tired and hadn't slept enough, and I yelled and screamed a lot. Yeah. And people were like, oh my God, that's amazing. Now everyone's fucking yelling and screaming. So
No, that's not true. Can you tell me one speech on the House or Senate floor that has garnered the attention that you got?
I know, that's the point I'm making, is that everyone is doing the same shtick now
No,
of
they're
doing
not.
the performative outrage.
No, they're not.
all doing it.
The Congress is now, it's a little bit, it's become somewhat of a legion of skanks, if you will. I mean, it's become, what can I say? It's white, it's trash. No.
What does Marjorie Taylor Greene do all day?
When I saw that fight between AOC and the other congresswoman and Marjorie Taylor Greene, and they were like, with your butch body and your bad haircut.
What is
like,
that all about?
It's the government. They're acting like fucking Jerry Springer right now. When I see that slob,
Right, but you're asking
when I see
me,
that
is there
lurch,
anyone who does that like I used to do? People
that's
argue
not like what you used to do. What you were doing was like you were standing up for a piece of legislation, and you were standing up for people. You were talking shit about someone's haircut.
Fair enough, but
and your outfit looked bad. You know, seriously, it's trash. When I see that slob, that lurch Fetterman, I'm like, put on a fucking shirt. You're in the government. Have some fucking respect. It's the government. You know, the only time he wore his suit was when Netanyahu came and spoke to the Congress, and he looked worse in the suit. I got you there. I got you there.
What? Yeah, that's great. Yeah, Fetterman's clothing.
I think you should put a shirt.
Fair enough.
It's Shabbos. Put a shirt.
By the way, am I underdressed for the show?
No, you asked me before what you should wear.
I did, because I didn't have enough experience.
No, this is a great outfit for you.
Okay, thank you.
How are you 60?
Guys, I want to talk to you about Lucy. We're really excited to kick off our partnership with Lucy, a very exciting brand partner that we welcome into the Adam Friedland Show family of products. Lucy is 100% pure nicotine, and guess what, guys? As always, it's tobacco free. Lucy Breakers are nicotine pouches that you put in your mouth, and they have an extra surprise. Each pouch holds a capsule that can be broken open to, it's terrible the way I said extra. I apologize to Lucy. That's good. I don't want people to be throwing up. Guys, Lucy Breakers are these pouches. You put them in your freaking mouth, you pop them, and you get a little extra surprise. Each pouch holds a capsule that can be broken to release extra flavor and hydration. Lord knows you want that. So you set yourself up with a prescription. You have Lucy delivered straight to your door. What's my favorite flavor? I like the coffee one. I have it with my coffee. And don't even talk to me until I've had it. And what strength do I use? The strongest one, obviously. The one Arnold Schwarzenegger, bodybuilders, strongest people. Anyway, I throw it in the morning. I throw it in when I want that little extra edge in my day. Let's level up your nicotine routine with Lucy. Go to lucy.co/TAFS and use promo code TAFS to get 20% off your first order. Lucy has a 30-day refund policy if you change your mind. Again, that's lucy.co and use the code TAFS to get 20% off. And here comes the fine print. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Thank you, Lucy. Thank you. And now back to the show.
Okay, so I want to ask you about the ACA in 2008.
Affordable Care Act. Who do you think the audience is for this show? They want to ask you about the ACA, right?
Don't talk down at people.
No, they know it as Obamacare. I coined Obamacare. Well, I didn't coin it, but I called it, when the Republicans are calling it Obamacare to be derisive, I called it Obamacare and said, yeah, we should own this.
They didn't own it. I mean, the Heritage Foundation owned it.
No, that's the point. And I was saying, why are we running away from it? Either we're proud of this thing or not. You want to call it Obamacare. If you're proud of it, you should call it Obamacare too. And they called me from the White House and they're like, you mocking the president's accomplishment. I'm like, no, I'm just calling it what, if they want to call it this, we're proud of it too.
It felt like Bush left office with an atrociously low approval rating.
He did.
it felt like there was this guy. I lived in DC at the time. And I remember the night Obama won. And I was with my friends. I was in college. We were like listening to Born in the USA, and we didn't realize it was a song about how America has abandoned the veterans coming back from Vietnam. But we're like, it was the first time we felt like, yeah, we're fucking patriotic. A black guy became the president,
right.
And he's incredible. He's an incredible speaker. I ran to the White House and I was shouting at the building, and I was like, fuck you, Bush.
Yeah.
And I was like, a black guy's moving into your house, you fucking piece of shit. And girls were showing their tits. But going back to the ACA, so we had an opportunity to finally give people the ability to go to the hospital as a human right. And it, on a personal level, I became jaded probably for the rest of my life because they immediately gave up on it.
Give up on
single payer.
Oh no, they never. They made a decision early on. I mean, look, you've got to decide. A lot of our economy is a single-payer system, and Medicare and Medicaid, the Indian Health Service, and then a lot of it is employer-based. And they had to make a decision early on what they were going to do, and they learned from the Clinton failures to double down on the insurance model and give insurance companies a bunch of money and give you money to give to insurance companies. It wasn't the transformative thing that maybe a young Adam Friedman.
Shut the fuck up! You're doing the Patrick Bet-David thing to me again.
Friedland, shortened Friedlander, was it? Was it shortened?
Anthony Penis.
Wow.
No, okay. So, do you think that caused a problem with you in the White House?
I had some conversations with the president himself and with his about the, but I repaired.
Let me be clear. Yeah.
I repaired them when I had an opportunity to bring a single-payer system to the floor, and I chose not to do it.
After the passage of the ACA.
After it passed out of committee, I had received a commitment to bring a single-payer system to the floor of the House, and it became clear that it would both go down and put a lot of my Republican colleagues in a situation they might not be able to vote for Obamacare, that I decided not to offer it. And still to this day, I wonder if that was the right decision that I made. But I made that sacrifice, and they appreciated it. And
you haven't seen the documentary, right, about your run for... I mean, I imagine that would be like fucking stressful as fuck for you to watch it.
The main reason I haven't seen it is that I don't have to talk about it.
I'll say this as a person that just watched it.
Right, I haven't seen it.
It's incredible. I mean, but like it wouldn't be the way I'm watching it as like this is an incredible film. You wouldn't feel the same way because obviously it's your life, right? And it's you in an incredibly stressful moment of your life.
Yeah,
right?
That's probably.
Do you know about the sandwich?
The sandwich?
Oh, you don't even know.
Well, you could say anything is in the movie and I would not know. That's not really fair.
There's a moment on election day. It's like the greatest actor in the world could go to Juilliard and they could study acting for 40 years and not eat a sandwich in a moment of stress like you ate that sandwich. You were like, it was election day, you were like, everything's fucked. And you were eating this like Philly cheesesteak or something. It's like the way that Tony would go into the fridge and just like eat deli meats, right?
Right, I was falling apart at that point.
As a viewer,
yeah,
it's an incredible story because there's a turn in the middle of it, right?
I haven't seen it, man.
I'm not telling you to see it. I'm just telling you.
Well, you're asking me to get into like the experience of seeing it.
No, it's not about. That's not what I'm asking about. Okay. I said obviously don't see it. Please don't see it. That would suck. But like at the beginning of the documentary, they detailed what the first scandal was, which was the accidental tweet. Right. And the first thing that came to mind to me...
By the way, what would you think your audience knows about you? One of the great questions I had...
Stop condescending the audience.
No, I'm asking you, because we're having this conversation as if the audience is completely tuned in on what my scandal was and was not. It happened a long-ass time ago.
Okay, then they should watch the documentary. I don't fucking know, dude. It doesn't matter what they know. It matters if we're having an interesting conversation.
Fair enough.
Okay. What do you think? They don't
no,
know.
It's just because this is a little bit of a meta question I'm experiencing in my life. Let me just finish my thought.
Yeah.
Is that like I'm now in this process of returning to public life to some degree, and some people are really tuned into my scandal and are like, how are you doing this with your scandal? And some people are like, what? What are you even talking about when you talk about your scandal?
What
and
people are saying that?
No, there are a lot of people who, for 2000 is a long-ass time ago.
In New York City, I think that I think
So
people
that's
know.
it's a Rorschach test. You, to some degree, are in that first camp, but there are a lot of people in the second camp that I experienced that when I start to talk about it, they're like, what was that? Tell me about the scandal again so I'm refreshed. Like the dude at Wingstop, I sent my son to pick up an order at Wingstop, and they're like, tell your dad he should run for governor again. That was ridiculous.
How do
man."
you know his son? How do you know your son?
Because it had my name, Anthony Weiner, on the thing, and they thought I was Elliot Spitzer. They conflated the two, confused or conflated? They confused the two stories.
Yeah. You guys should be on a ticket a little bit. Spitzer Wieners.
Yeah.
Sorry, okay, that didn't work. Okay.
Anyway, keep going.
Okay. So I'm going back to the White House thing in the ACA. There's a moment at the beginning of the documentary that details the first scandal. And they play a clip of Obama saying, "If it were me, I would resign." Right?
God,
And
yeah.
it was kind of like, the thing I picked up on was like, the president kind of like took the shot, right? And I was wondering if the origin of that was like through from the ACA or from like something else that had happened, in Washington D.C. that had nothing to do with this, where it's like there was tension between you and the White House.
I was not a particularly popular person in Washington.
Why not?
Because Washington it has a weird relationship with ambition. So like young,
What are you talking about? It's
I'm about to finish. Did that seem like
it's
the end
politics.
of my...
What do you mean
Did
a
it-
weird?
did that
Everyone's
seem
ambi-
like- did it seem
that
like-
seems like a bullshit
Did
sentence.
it seem like the end of my thought, though?
Yeah, but I'm telling you, it's a
You-
bullshit
you-
sentence.
You let me know when I can continue my thought, and then maybe we can draw a conclusion about the thought when I'm done with it.
I'm helping you out here.
You're not. You're like the Lee Harvey Oswald of stories. You're like just sniping at me while I'm talking. Can I continue? So Washington has a weird relationship with ambition in that people get rewarded, obviously, for being ambitious. They run for Senate. But if you're someone who thinks, well, this guy's not waiting in line, he's out there doing things on cable that we didn't think of doing, he's jumped over 5 members of Congress to run for mayor, et cetera, that's the people don't like that. Institutional people in Washington don't like that. Now maybe voters do, and maybe donors do, and maybe TV producers do, but other politicians don't. So the fact that I was a relatively backbencher, and I was someone who had become the spokesman for and against Obamacare and for single payer and everything else, there was a little bit of like, you're too big for your britches kind of vibe.
You were getting airtime too, you know?
And I was getting airtime, et cetera.
Yeah.
And so people there was insiders who were like, who is this fucking guy? That
Name
kind
names.
of vibe.
Who were the guy? Who was doing it?
I think that there were times my colleagues here in the New York delegation didn't like that I was running for mayor when I'd only been in office for a few years and was being successful at it. So there's that tension as well. And then the executive branch doesn't...
Who's it? Gerald Nadler?
Nadler was not a big fan of mine. He
Yeah.
still isn't. Still grimaces at me when he sees me.
Well, I think he just looks like he's grimacing always. You know, he pooped his pants.
I thought it was you.
Me, McConnell, and Nadler. We all pooped our pants on
Pretty
TV.
good.
Okay, anyway, zooming out, right? The assumption is for a long time, is that power and celebrity and powerful men is an aphrodisiac. That women are attracted to powerful men.
Sure, my God.
And we celebrate.
Crazy about me. Women are crazy about me.
No, we celebrate our JFK. Like I think it was a 2011. It was indicative of a shift in society. I think if
Yeah, I think that's
a congressman's underpants with a little bit of a
Right.
print was tweeted out in 2025. What I would say is it wouldn't make the top 100 news
That's
stories
probably
of
right.
this year.
That's probably
right. So it represents an intersection between like an old kind of New York tabloid press, which is like that was kind of an old world thing.
Correct.
And then the new world introduction of technology into
That's one version. The
into
other
politics.
version is it was a relatively slow news period, and I'm a guy named Weiner who tweeted out a picture of his dick.
But
so
you
there's
were the
that.
first guy too.
No, I'm saying that I'm not dismissing that idea. I'm saying that there was an element of it.
But Matt Gaetz fucked the kid.
Right, and if his name was Matt Kidfucker,
No.
then the story would.
No, that's not true. Think about it this way. Trump almost got shot on TV. 2 days later, we didn't even remember.
Yeah. I'm not sure I see the transition in those.
If it was today, it wouldn't. Like it would be a 48-hour news
Right.
cycle, and it would be forgotten.
Yes, but yes. So the technology, if similar technological norms were around, and Kennedy would have been the same. Yes, but therefore what? Yes. Yes.
It's not therefore what. It's an interesting moment in like our culture, right?
Yeah.
Because
Not a terribly original thought, but yes, yes. No, people have said that about my case.
sorry,
and I got it.
I'm the Carlos Mencia of original thoughts. Sorry, it stole someone's bit. Whose the original thought was that?
The movie was basically that premise.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Yell at me that Congress people should have fucking stocks? Okay. I mean, like when this subject comes up, it's unpleasant for you to talk about, right?
Yeah, look, we can do it. It's just let's move off of this one not terribly novel idea that technology played a part in my.
What I'm saying is this: you're running for office right now, right?
This is the fourth time you've kind of given me advice on how to do something. I criticize.
Because you're doing a bad job right now.
Okay.
I'm just telling you.
It could be, but your defense to me.
Yid to yid, you gotta be like a little bit smooth. You gotta be smooth.
You've also done this bit 4 times already. I get it. Sometimes I critique the question you're
that we're
asking,
Jewish?
and you do this thing of like, this is not good for you to make fun of your host on the show. It's not working. I'm like, all right, I get it. I get it. I get it. All right, you turned the paper over. I thought that was a good sign. I thought we were going to go to some new material. No, I'm ready, man. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Let's do some more of this. Yes, technology.
It's not some more of this. Okay, listen.
Came across.
Okay. No, I'm not doing the technology thing.
We should have pivoted.
Yeah.
Gates kid fucker. What was the chance to pivot?
Yeah.
That was the. All right, now we move to the next thing. Got the big laugh. We move on.
You're showing your hand a little bit right now.
Which is what?
That it's annoying that I'm asking any of these questions and you're sick of talking about it.
Incorrect. I just think the movie as a jumping off point is not great. But go ahead.
Why is that not great?
Because there's interesting questions about the movie, maybe, but
I have more questions about the movie.
By and large, people haven't seen the movie. I haven't seen the movie.
I think a lot of people have seen the movie.
I don't think a lot of people have seen this movie.
Guys?
I saw it. It's great.
He said multiple times. Yeah, multiple times. Okay, there's another moment that's really sweet. And my mother passed away 4 years ago. When your mom, she looks so sweet, that lady.
Yeah, she's the
She
best.
goes back in the phone bank for you while everything's falling apart.
Yeah.
And I start crying because I'm like, I miss her so much. Like I was like, it's so nice.
Is she still around? She's still around.
No, not. I don't miss your mom. Your mom's an educator. In the documentary, midway through, you can't do it this way.
I think I can. I have not seen the documentary.
But you leave the documentary, so I'm going to ask you a question because I saw it.
You don't need to set it up as the documentary when I haven't seen it. If I did it in real life, you can just say, I understand you.
You're the one wasting time right now.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Obviously, it was something documenting your comeback, and then midway through, there's a shift. Was there ever a moment in your mind where you were like, just like, let's stop doing this?
So the documentary came to be.
It was a staffer, right?
This guy that used to work for me said, let me document this stuff. And I'm like, look, dude, here's what I do need. I need someone to videotape everything that I do on the campaign for our own purposes. One, we might need it for ads, but two, I was very concerned about people making accusations about something that happened on the campaign. I wanted to document it.
Did you have it in the back of your mind that there was a possibility of something else derailing your chances of becoming mayor?
Oh, constantly.
So you were under constant stress even before this.
I always knew I had this scandal in the background and it was going to be hard for me to get behind it, to get ahead of it. Because one way or another, I'd have to persuade 50% of the voters to vote for me, either in a runoff or in the primary. So I always knew it was going to be tough. So yeah. I don't know if I ever thought for sure, even when the polls were showing me ahead, I always knew it was going to be tough because I'm a smart political person. I knew that when you have these kind of negatives.
Obviously, like opening yourself up to another run right now.
Presently, yes.
Presently.
Very different vibe.
You think it's a different vibe?
I don't think I would be running if I thought good people were running. I think that there's kind of, it's been 10 years since I've run, so it's not like I've been, and I've had other opportunities, and people say it to me all the time, you should run, you should run. I just think that there's no good reason not to run, right? If I think I'd do a good job at the job, and I have, if I'm better than the other people, why shouldn't I run?
It happened for a third time, and many people have asked you this question. I'm going to ask it again.
Go ahead.
Because of the proximity of the Comey letter to the election in 2016.
Correct.
In some ways, you are considered kind of like a Archduke Ferdinand of.
Do you have to set this part up at all, or you're kind of hemming and hard? You have to set this up.
You're doing this thing again where it's an annoying question.
Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't. All right.
A third accusation arose in 2016, and as a result of it, Your laptop was seized, and there were emails from Hillary Clinton. And 10 days before the election, James Comey wrote a letter to Congress. And in a razor-thin election, many people perceive it to
Right.
be
The idea
the thing that pushed Trump over the line.
Right. So Comey.
Yeah.
They had my laptop. They had it for weeks and weeks and weeks. They knew there wasn't anything on it that was relevant to the campaign, that was relevant to the investigation. The prosecutors in New York said, "Why are you guys just sitting on this?" And it turned out they were sitting on it because Comey did this 11th hour thing that is against the law, where he announces the announcement.
I'm not saying it was your plan to do it, but through a butterfly effect.
Right, except it wasn't accidental. It was intentionally done that way. Giuliani leaked about it long before. We've got this. We're holding it until the very end.
So James Comey was working in concert with the Trump campaign?
Oh, well, it's not really clear. I mean, he's never answered exactly why it was he held on to this so long until 10 days before the election. They had it weeks before. The inspector general that looked into this asked the same question.
Yeah.
That people in the FBI was pulling against Hillary Clinton, and Giuliani was getting leaked all this information. They had it for a long time. Why did Comey wait till 10 days before to talk about it? That's a question for Comey. So if you have the butterfly effect is Comey holding on to stuff until 10 days before.
Of course. I mean, I'm not saying that
I
it was
didn't
your
think that you knew
intention to get for a third time and then have Donald Trump accidentally become the president.
Say that it was.
I'm not saying that it was
saying
deliberate.
the Anthony Weiner butterfly effect is like it was held for
It
weeks
was
after.
your laptop, though.
I know, but it was held for weeks after that. The butterfly effect was not me. It was Comey. What Comey did with that.
He wouldn't have had the laptop, and that wouldn't have,
Right, but he could have had the laptop. My point is, he could have had it for 6 months and held on to it. It was weeks. It was not that close to
You're
the
still
election.
part of the butterfly. You're
Someone
still
could make that argument.
You're still a
but
beautiful butterfly.
Someone could make that argument, but they'd have to construct a fairly convoluted.
But I'm saying, like, you are tangentially related to a
there
historical
are also
moment.
people that if you believe the Anthony Weiner part about it, you have to ignore the James Comey piece and the Rudy Giuliani piece and the FBI piece.
No, that's the butterfly effect. It's Anthony. Let's say the human centipede effect. You have the Anthony Weiner, you have Giuliani, you have Comey, you have Trump.
Right, but Adam.
You have Stormy Daniels.
But Adam, it could have been, if it's not Anthony Weiner, there could have been something else that was the butterfly.
But in the material universe, what happened was that.
I mean, you could also say.
Why are we debating this? It's a ridiculous point for you to be taking. You know
again,
that
that's the sixth time
tangentially,
you've taken an answer of mine and
because
critiqued
you're
it in real
taking
time.
some sort of abstract issue with it when it's a simple.
I am.
point.
You asked me what do you think about the butterfly effect argument, and I'm saying I'm dismissing it, and here's how I'm doing it.
You're dismissing it because James Comey could have used anything, but I'm saying what
Correct.
happened was he used your thing.
Right, or you could
So
say
it's still a butterfly effect.
You can say that Hillary Clinton is the butterfly.
I think she's gorgeous. When you look at your life as you were now the minority leader of the Senate was your first mentor.
Correct.
And then your wife was the assistant to the Secretary of State.
Correct.
President Clinton officiated your wedding.
All
correct. You were around incredibly powerful people. And
now
you're somewhat of a Forrest Gump.
Yeah, like a Zelig?
Well, Zelig isn't good too. You know, Woody did blackface in that movie too.
Yeah, I don't think also Zelig works with.
You know, I met him.
Was Zelig or Woody Allen?
Zelig's not a real guy. So
I know, but I thought maybe.
What I mean, Shrek?
I thought maybe you would appear.
I met him in a
Hey, that's
restaurant.
Zelig,
recently.
and then that's also it's Friedlander over there.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
look
yeah.
at him.
No, that movie's incredible, actually, and it has become a cultural term. Of course.
I know. I've been. I don't know quite what I'm supposed to do about watching Woody Allen movies.
Why?
Are we allowed to do it? I don't know.
Yeah, we're allowed to do it.
Okay.
The joke, obviously, is to a comedian when we see this, right? Is this.
Good. I love to see the comedian mind at work.
When we see that news story, we see that all of us as men possess the capacity to ruin our own lives with our own penises, to trip
Right.
over our own penises, but that Western civilization perhaps tripped over your penis. It could have been the penis that changed history the most.
Got
You
it.
know?
Got it. Seen it. Read it. Done it. Yeah. Go ahead.
Who
Keep
read
going.
it? Who said it?
People have written, said it, and done it. But yeah, we can do it again.
I mean, I'm saying that to a comedian, that's kind of obviously how we're going to view it.
And you?
But right now, the way I view it is that there's a human being that was in an incredibly stressful situation.
Thank you, pal.
We have obviously an attitude towards addiction in society now, and that if we can accept that your behavior, and I know you're in recovery, if we can accept that your behavior was impulsive or compulsive.
Right.
That you were doing it after you resigned from Congress. You were doing it after you ran for mayor. That that was a product of a disease. I think society has that view nowadays. But what I think probably complicates matters for you is the jail sentence and
Correct.
the final time that it included someone that was an underage
Correct.
individual. You now are on the registry, right?
Correct.
And I'm just wondering, you've been in the system now, right?
I have.
And I read your 25 ideas for New York City, and I didn't really see much about like criminal justice issues, and
That's fair.
And I wonder what impact it had on you to be in the system, and what impact it has on you now to still be still be on this registry and have something that follows you the rest of your life.
Yeah, well, first of all, the registry part is something I had to agree to. The crime I committed, obscenity, was not included in that. But the prosecutor, look, it's informed me in the following ways. One, that prosecutors make decisions for political reasons. The higher the monkey climbs, the more you can see his ass, and that I accept. I was a famous person, so someone that might not get charged for a crime, it was ridiculous for me to get charged with a crime and to do prison sentence for the things that I did.
You think that?
Well, no one
Is that your claim?
No one generally gets prosecuted. No one in the Southern District's ever been sentenced for obscenity, for transferring obscene material. So I did learn that there was an element of prosecutorial discretion that I think everyone should be concerned about, that people being made examples of, and the idea of people being over-incarcerated. I learned I was a very privileged person to be in that system, but I experienced a lot of men in that system who were also charged with things they probably shouldn't have been for periods of time that they shouldn't have, and their inability to get a trial, a fair trial, because of the trial penalty in the federal system. So I learned a lot about that stuff that informs how I talk about this stuff today.
What was your experience being incarcerated like?
It was hard. I wouldn't recommend it.
How did you politic?
I formed relationships with a lot of different elements inside.
Yeah.
Like there were guys at the prison library, these more senior black guys, and I would kibitz with them about what's going on in Washington. I worked in the rec yard, and so those guys I got a relationship with. I lived with the unit store man. Some people.
What's the store man?
It's the guy who has stuff that he sells. You can only go to the commissary every so often, but if someone wants to go watch a movie and they want to get a bag of chips, the store man will take care of you. And I lived with that guy, and no one really fucks with the store man. And so there were ways that I stayed safe.
Being on a registry, if you kill someone, right? If I murder someone, I get out of jail, I don't have to tell my neighbors that I'm
Correct.
a murderer.
Correct.
What is it about this category of crime? Why is it treated differently?
I don't know.
society?
It's the last. I mean, it's kind of weird. Obscenity is usually not considered one of these crimes, and so it's kind of weird. But I guess sex crimes have their own special thing in people's imagination because they take in such a broad range of different things.
Is it all sex crimes, or is it just involving minors?
No, it's all sex
It's all
crimes.
sex crimes.
All sex crimes.
Yeah. Do you know that this individual was underage at the time?
I didn't have a trial. And I'm reluctant to do anything that sounds like I'm not accepting responsibility for what I did. However, there are elements of this case that made it winnable for me. Let's just put it that way.
If it was winnable, why wouldn't you try to win?
Because they said to you, can either accept this charge or we're going to charge you with something else that has a mandatory minimum. And so the risk is called the trial penalty in the federal system. So it's very risky, and that's why so few people go to trial, because you can plea bargain for 21 months and see your 6-year-old again in a couple of years, or take your chance going to a trial with the name Anthony Weiner and all that goes with that, and hope that you win the case and spend a lot of money, and then you could then get charged with, then you found guilty of a 10-year mandatory minimum because they charge you with something else. Not many people go to trial in the federal system, like 1 or 2%.
Yeah.
Because they have the ability to really raise the cost for you if you decide to.
How has it affected your life, though, being on a registry since you've been out of jail?
Well, it's very hard. It's a thing that people can say about you that taints you and that makes it seem like you're scary and that people can make up stories. My whole thing is I'll accept responsibility for things I've done, not for things I have not done.
Yeah.
The prosecutors said you have to accept this as part of the penalties, part of your plea bargain, and so we said we would.
I mean, obviously you're running for office again.
Yeah.
It must make it like. Do you intend on winning? Do you?
I
if
do
you run for
intend on
office.
winning.
Right. So how do you account for that? Like in the eyes of a voter.
Well, it depends on where they enter the conversation. If they say you're on the sex registry and I can explain it, if they say, some people, I say to them, look, I have done my time, done my probation, I have accepted responsibility, and why can't I go back and work for this community doing the job that I'm best at? To me, people who talk about the idea of justice and the justice system, they're full of shit if they believe that I'm not entitled to run even though I have done my time and accepted responsibility. And my notion of criminal justice is you pay your debt to society, no more.
To what extent do you want to expose yourself for a third time now to that?
Yeah, I get versions of that question a lot, like why are you putting yourself through it? And I guess shouldn't the question be, well, why shouldn't I? Like, what is the alternative? Is the idea, okay, there's this whole body of things that you're good at doing, but you shouldn't do it because people are going to say mean things to you. Well, the alternative is what? I only go into job spaces where people won't say mean things to me. I'm also on the radio, on a conservative radio station where people call up and yell at me about stuff. There's a lot of things that people don't like candidates for. Maybe they don't like me because of these things in my background. But I guess the question I would have is like, well, what is the logical extension of that? That I curl up under a table somewhere or I just disappear? If I would have been elected in 2013, we would have had a better city. I would have been a better mayor than de Blasio. So if someone wants to say, I'm not going to vote for that guy for city council, I'm going to vote for someone less good because I don't like what I know about this embarrassing thing I know about that guy. All right, well, fuck you. That's your decision. If you want to vote for a less good city councilman because you know embarrassing things about me, then so be it. But as the person, what am I supposed to do? If I think I can be of service, if I think that I can add something, if I think I'm really good at this and I'm better than the people running, what's the argument for me not running? Oh, people are going to say mean things to me?
Well, it feels shit to lose, right? If you lose.
I suppose it does, but you're asking a different question. You're saying that you have to get. I could lose because I'm a Zionist in a district that's very lefty. I could lose because of any number of reasons. You can always lose if you're in an election. Is this a liability? Yes, but I also have assets. I'm the far better candidate than any of these people. I've got better ideas than them, etc. So if you're saying you only go into a race that you think that you're going to win,
yeah.
You know,
in a lot of cities, like a dog gets elected mayor. Do you think New York will ever have a dog mayor?
I just saw a thing on Instagram. There's a dog mayor now of New York.
Right now?
Yeah.
Mayor Adams, you're calling him a dog?
No, I think dog mayor is like a different thing, kind of.
He's got that dog in him. You know what? You look kind of like a silent film star a little bit.
Except the talking part.
You know any jokes?
I don't.
Yeah, you do. I know you do.
No, you're the comedian, I hear. Do you headline your show? Do people advertise on the show? I mean, how does it work?
Don't worry about it.
Okay. Do you wear this when you do your stand-up? No. Is this like the Nebushi, like Jewish thing?
Why would I say Nebush?
Forgive me. You're right. I apologize.
You're a Rodney fan, right?
Rodney Dangerfield? Yes.
Yeah. Want to give us a couple of Rodneys?
Oh, did you? Where'd you read this? I used to do Rodneys when I was in college, but no, I'm not going to do Rodneys.
In the documentary, the Rodney.
Did I really?
Yeah, well, everything was turning to shit. You were in the car. It was a great moment. Sorry to bring up the documentary.
No, it's I didn't realize that.
Do your favorite
I'd
joke.
rather not.
Why not?
I'd rather not.
Come on, do
it's
one
great.
joke.
It was Rodney influencing you at all? Who is your guy? Who is your guy that you're like, that's the guy I want to emulate? Is it Stewart?
No, okay, my guy, not Stewart. No, I'd say Woody for sure.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Woody. I Larry.
Yeah.
You know the fucking.
I get it.
What?
I don't know.
Give us one joke. Give us one Rodney. We just let it on a light level because it's got so heavy.
It's the way you structured this. You could have done the yucks at the end.
Just give us one joke. I'll give you my dad's favorite joke.
Go ahead.
Okay.
A Rodney joke?
No. So there's a Jew who gets shipwrecked.
My neighborhood's dangerous, boy.
Shut
really,
up.
a
You're stepping
lot
on
of
my
crime
joke.
in my neighborhood, boy.
A Jew gets...
The other day, I asked the police officer, where's the nearest subway station? He said, I don't know. No one's ever made it.
He doesn't know. Talk about your wife.
I get no respect for my wife. The other day, I was at a bar. The bartender says, what do you want? I said, I don't know. Surprise me. He shows me a naked picture of my wife. Oh, I got no respect. I'm all done. I'm all done. Go ahead. Go. I interrupted your thing.
No,
Now you got to compete with Rodney, but go ahead. Knock yourself out.
My dad's favorite joke.
Yeah.
So the Jew washes up on a desert island, right? 10 years later, they find him. He's been alone. He's built an entire city. There's a town hall. There's a postal
The
office.
synagogue, that's the one I would never go into. Yeah.
Sorry, fucking stuff.
All right. Thank you, pal. Appreciate it. Really enjoyed it. That was great. All right, thank you.
All right, here's a scenario, right? It's the Super Bowl, right? The Birds just freaking won, right? You're there with your best friend, right? Had a couple too many. Is it cheating if you one time just get a blowjob from your male best friend one time?
No, that's not cheating, as long as, you know.
All right, thanks a lot.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
thanks, guys.
You're amazing. Dad, I hope you had fun.
I had a lot of fun.